Good morning, everyone. I have been having a problem with my volume. I'm trying to get used to this new microphone. It's a professional microphone. I actually paid more for it than I did my entire computer. I bought the computer off Newegg refurbished, and I'm really happy with it. I couldn't have got a better buy. I got a free monitor, keyboard, and mouse with it, free shipping. So I actually ended up paying more for this microphone than I did my computer. Nonetheless, I got a lot of new subs, and they're coming from all different directions, and I'm getting a lot of questions, so let me go ahead and answer them here. First, about the microphone again, I know there's a small hum in the back. There's not a lot I can do about that. I'm kind of shoved into a corner, and you can't get really far from the tower, and the microphone is picking up the fan in the tower, and so you hear this slight hum in the background. Maybe if I can do some rearranging or something, I can figure out a way to minimize that. On my home page, in the artwork at the top, you will see a link that says Inside 33 Archive 11 lvt 11. These are videos from actually I think my second or third channel. It's not my first, but I think there's some videos from a couple of channels on there that I had. So thanks to Inside 33, who archived all of my earlier work before it was taken down after Google took over. And I really put time into a lot of those videos back then. I go through a lot of the etymology of the names of the planets. Google Translate before they changed it. Etymology online before they changed it. And if I'm not mistaken, I can't do it on this computer. I'll have to do it on the Planetary Linguistics, I do believe, has also been taken down. I'll have to check that in a bit. Alright, today is Veterans Day. Let's see if we can go to... This thing always gives me fits when I want to do something with it. Can I not move you? There we go. And I can move you back down. That's not a problem. Let's get you back down here. Let's open Stellarium. Today's Veterans Day, 11/11. The veterans of war, when they pass in war, they go to the afterlife of Valhalla in one language. Each of the gods actually has a different aspect of what, I'm not going to call it heaven anymore because I think that's a confusing word. I think people don't get it. It's a deceptive word, and they use several different words to translate to the one word, heaven. So I'm going to call it the afterlife, because it's after this life, or the life after, we would say in English, the life after, using the proper sentence structure. Mars officially moved into Aquarius today. Mars moves into Aquarius today. That gives us, wow, that's just way too much info. I'll have to go through and clean some of that up. Karma time, Mars in Aquarius. Mars denotes action. It's your emotions, it's your actions. So they're now going to start emulating fixed air. And that is karma, reaping what you sow, the law of equivalent exchange. So while Mercury, is Jupiter there yet? I don't even know where everything is at on this list. It's still in Libra. So it's in the sign of balance. It's in cardinal air with the sun. So you have the sun, Jupiter, and Mars all in the air signs. We have a moon hosting Saturn today as well in Jupiter's house. A lot about the Saturn moon matrix. You better hope so, because it's the the Jupiter moon matrix that is our problem. Uranus still in water. Will go through its retrograde back into Aries. It won't wrap that up until the middle of March. We'll see Uranus back in Aries, burning down the house. Right now, it's just getting rid of associates in our life. Poor Venus. Conjunct Spica. She's finally turned. She's turned around yet? No, I don't think so. I think she's still retrograde. Our numbers are 28494. Yeah, she's still retrograde. Bless her heart. She's got right as she gets to Spica, she turns around and comes out of her retrograde this week. But she's still in Virgo. That means she's still debilitated. Nothing we can do about that. People's hearts are cold. Cold. And action is in karma. Along with Jupiter and the Sun. The Sun in Venus's house. Jupiter in Venus's house. Mercury. A lot of secrets going to be coming out about travel, money, or actually not money, it's commerce. It's the trade. It's secret deals that are on the table. We're going to start hearing a lot about secret deals on the table. And then with Mars being in Aquarius, that's going to initiate karma. I'm going to say instant karma. You're going to see to where it's like a boomerang. It's going to boomerang. Whatever you throw out is coming back to you. And that is the epitome of you reap what you sow. So throw out good things. But with Mercury here, it is going to be about secret deals, secret travels. What else does he deal with? He deals with logic and intelligence as well. And this is in the house of 1, secrets. Scorpio is also the house of intimate friends and lovers, passion. So these deals and these secrets are going to have a lot of passion behind them that kicks, because this is Mars' house. That's why it has this passion here, because it is Mars' house. So it's going to reflect right back on the same fixed cross. It's on the fixed cross. So Mars is aspecting Mercury on the fixed cross, but he's aspecting Jupiter and the Sun in the air sign. Do y'all catch that? So we have the fixed and the cardinal cross playing each other. The Moon and Saturn are on the mutable cross, along with Uranus and Pluto. So all of your transformation and your transmutation is still occurring on the mutable cross. Understand that the word mutate or transmutate really is directly always targets the mutable cross, because that's the age we change. You have a lot of scientists say they call it a missing link or a jump in our evolutionary species. That always happens on the mutable cross. That's what it's about. We've gone through the Hermetic mutable with Buddha and over here in Gemini. Buddha, Hermes, Thoth, it was a very philosophical transformation. And philosophy being in Sagittarius being opposite Gemini. Always the above to fix what's below. As above, so below. Also on that mutable cross, we have the Venus debilitated retrograde. So you kind of got two things going on. Saturn, Uranus, Pluto, the Moon, and Venus all working the mutable cross. Jupiter and the Sun on the cardinal cross, while Mercury and Mars are on the fixed cross. So everybody getting a little bit of something. You need to know what cross you're on and what element you're in. I'm cardinal Earth, so whatever's in Earth is going to affect me. So Venus is in Earth debilitated retrograde. No love for lvt. And also the Moon, Uranus, all this transformation for the people on the mutable cross. Because I'm on the cardinal cross, I'm catching the Jupiter-Sun effect. Those on the fixed cross are going to get the Mercury-Mars effect, and then the planets that they're aspecting. I want to show all of y'all how to do this. On my channel, I have a playlist. I don't want saved playlist. This is, I don't know it. Nope, I think I made it myself. I didn't want to do that. Okay, it's not showing. Okay. Nope, I don't want to do that. Here in playlist also, I have the archive that you can jump to. It's simply a saved playlist. I want to go to, I don't know what's up with my channel. I hate the new layout. I want all playlists, and it's not giving them to me. It's just simply not letting me access them. I need to figure out a way to get out of this new YouTube Creator Studio, because I have hundreds of playlists created. This might work better. Yep, now I get to see more. There we go. Stellarium tutorials. There's only 2 videos here. That's really all you need. They've done a really good job of it. They just link you to 2 other videos that are already on YouTube. And I encourage all of you to do this for yourself. Let's pop back over to Stellarium. I'll show you really quick how to do it. When you first turn on your Stellarium program, you come down here to the bottom, and starting from the right to the left, you come across to the little meteor shower button and turn that one off. And the next set of symbols, you want to turn on the lightning bolt. You want it to look like what I've got set up here. The Saturn symbol is your planets. You have your atmosphere, your cardinal points, and your landscape. You can turn that on and off as needed. And the last set of symbols, you have the little running man as your images, and then your boundaries, names, and constellation symbols. And the left-hand taskbar all the way to the top, 8-pointed star, Mercury, navigation, and you type in the city you need. We'll just put that one in. And it'll take you to North Africa there. Make sure the name of the city's above the little running man icon. Back to the left, you hit your clock icon, and you simply take it to the date of your birth. And then you can whirl around and see where everybody's at. It'll tell you what cross you're on and what element you're in. And that's the simplest way to do it. That way you know for sure. You can, when you click on a planet and you come over here into the logistics, it's going to tell you IAU constellation and then you'll get the abbreviation for the constellation that it's in, and what degree in that constellation. Now they start out the map by the degree that they start 0 at Aries, 00 Aries. I've already told you why they do that. They don't know why they do it, but they do it because it's the first commandment of the God of the Old Testament. Thou shalt have no other God before me. It is the first commandment for that age, and they're still doing it. They don't know how to put off traditions of men. They're all living in the past and have most of the people living in the past. When you use tropical astrology, the way I look at it, you're living in the past 1700 years ago. That's how off it is. It's 23.5 degrees off and getting worse. And you move 1 degree 72 years. So you have 72 times 23.5, and that puts you right at approximately 1700 years, which is exactly the same time the New Testament was written by the Church of Nicaea. The New Testament, the Bible itself, was put together as a whole. So to me, tropical astrology ties right into New Testament, or the Bible as we've come to know it. It was its beginning. And those documents are not in order. They're not in chronological order. The stories within them tell stories of all of the zodiac signs. And it can be very confusing if you don't know which element, which force of nature you're dealing with. And that's what they are, forces of nature. It's like the book of Revelations. The creature has the face of the man, the face of the lion, the face of the ox, and the face of an eagle. So we know that that was written before this Greco-Roman zodiac was given to us. It's older than the Greco-Roman. Because this little fella right here comes out of the Persian under Ahura Mazda, which was an age of fire, Zoroastrianism. So we know that it was back when the eagle was recognized, and we know the eagle was changed about the time of Julius Caesar, which is approximately 70 to 100 BC. Most zone in on 90 BC. So you about 120 years before the Messiah was crucified, or we were given this zodiac, because that's what that really means when they put the man on the cross. So what was on the cross before the man? Right? What was on the fixed cross before the man? Very possibly the serpent, because we have the images of the lion serpent that are very old as well. You have to dig back. I am really wanting to get into a lot of the different star lores with everybody. When we go into some of the South Americans, we don't have very much of that here. Hawaiian star lines, I'm curious. A lot of them do not have the pictograph. Oh, check this one out. We have a big serpent here, Lhuacona. Let's throw up some. There we go. The Chief's Fish Line, by hook or by crook. Oh, Voice of Joy. This would be the right below the Grail there, the big crow, I call it, the crow. We have the backbone. This is very interesting how they do theirs. Now they have the big whale, mirrors him over here. Here's Orion. We always see Orion and they call it the hourglass. It's a fake hourglass. The chief's eyes are the Pleiades, and the Egyptian, the Pleiades, are the flock. Nothing going on in Pisces, but the kite of Coelho. Let me do that. Mars in Aquarius, so that's going to make this whole area right here part of Aquarius. And Pegasus. The Navigator's Triangle. This would be the upper house of Capricorn. The the navigation triangle for Aries is these stars, this star system. There it goes, grabbing those satellites again. There's so many satellites out there right now. We should be able to get rid of some of that. Supergalactic. There. That should help us out. Yes. That's what we wanted to do there. Let's go to a different. I like to familiarize myself with the Egyptian and with the Arabic, because that's where the book that we're dealing with comes from. It's from those two sources, out of Asia and out of North Africa. And that's all really that Europe has, is the Bible they've given them. Really, it's a story about all the ages in the past. It really does go back to the beginning, but it's predominantly about Taurus, the coming out of the age of Taurus into the age of Aries, and they've literally pulled the wool over the eyes of the flock for 3 ages now, through Taurus, Aries, and Pisces. All of these really teaming up against the people. The age of Pisces was supposed to be the age of the people. But we have been lied to about so much. I want to talk about something. It could get loud here in a second. Where's it at? Here we go. Stalled Century. Matt over at Quantum of Conscience did a video called Stalled Century. I have the belief that we have missing time. When you start going through all of this, and history as it's laid out and what we've been told, something is amiss. And I do believe that missing time is actually one of 2 places. In the Bibles, you would call it the Apocrypha or the Maccabean period, right? Between the books, between the old set and the new set. The old set, the Old Testament, venerates the god of Aries, the god of fire. That would be Molech. That would be Ahura Mazda to the Persians, Vulcan to the Etruscans or Latin, and the burning bush. All of these are the different aspects of the god of fire. And then we have this Maccabean or Apocrypha period between Aries and Pisces, this changing of the guards, so to speak. And we're lied to about that. The truth is just now being told us, and it's called the Game of Thrones. It's the battle of fire, Aries, and ice, Pisces. That's what's going on. And in the end, they mix the bloodlines. They hook up, right? This is what you call Caucasians. the Caucasus, or the Asian cock. It's where this word comes from, is right here, when the Asians of the age of Aries comes into Europe and becomes this Caucasian race, this whole new race of people. And they're mixed, and you can't tell them apart. They've been over here for over 2,000 years now, the first time, and then the mixing, you can't tell the wheat from the tares. And that's what that story's about. That's what you're being told. The New Testament tells you the story of Pisces and Aquarius. Pisces is the age of grace. It really, to me, that belongs to John the Baptist, and he is the patron saint or the Messiah for the age of water. His head was his head was cut off and put on a silver platter, a moon platter. You know, when you go to church, they pass around the moon plate, the silver moon plate, to get the money, honey. You ever wondered why a moon plate? And that right there tells you what's being taught at the pulpit has been adapted, and it's become about money and the moon. And the age of Pisces is water, which is connected directly to the moon. Water is ruled by the moon in Cancer, Jupiter in Pisces, and Mars in Scorpio. Your three waters. Designating here, it's the people you choose in your life, your lovers, friends, people you tell secrets to. The water in Cancer is the matriarch. These are the people in your family, and this is everybody else. The masses. That's why they call it the Mass. The Catholics have the Mass. But Mars is debilitated here, but he's exalted at the other end, which is Virgo. The other end of his mutable cross is Virgo, carrying... Why do they have Hermes there? Baby Mercury, right? He's exalted. He rules Virgo. The baby rules Virgo. The little man is always Mercury. It's the little finger. And he has two aspects. He's feminine in Virgo, but he's masculine in the air sign of Gemini. And he's Hermes, so they call him hermaphroditic, right? That's where this comes from. Matt was also asked me a question about Freddie Mercury, the coming out of Queen and all that. Queen being a play on words for somebody back in our hippie days. It was something we call somebody who was gay or homosexual. They were queens, especially if they liked to dress up or were transgenders. They were queens. This is where all this comes from. And this is actually forbidden by the god of Aries. Mars forbids this, but it's done anyway. They're not allowed to venerate Mercury. That is, the 10 toes mixed themselves with miry clay. They mixed themselves with these people of the mutable cross. So the people of the cardinal cross, cardinal fire in Asia, mixed themselves with the Europeans, called themselves Caucasians, and this is mutable earth, which is miry clay. So they had feet mixed with iron, Aries, and clay, Virgo. What's wrong with this picture? It's a crooked cross. They weren't supposed to do that. Every age, every place is supposed to venerate the stars that were given to it. As above, so below. These frequencies embed themselves on the surface. But everybody wants to be, I don't want to be this, I want to be that. So we put on masks. That's why it's a masquerade party. And everybody has on a mask. Because we're really a lot of us are already born into what I call Aquarius. And we know each other. We resonate with each other. But we're between these two ages, when they've got the whole world stuck back here, still fighting the battle of fire and ice. Between the god of war, Mars, and his afterlife of Valhalla, the heaven where, I don't want to go to this place that we're told about, where we stand around with palm leaves in our hands all day worshiping a god. Islam, their war god, right? It's Asia, it's a war god. So if you sacrifice yourself and you become this suicide bomber, then you're honoring the god of war, and when you go to their heaven, you get 72 virgins. But also, there are no women allowed in their heaven. So are all the virgins boys? None of this makes sense, right? Until you look at it from an alchemical, astrological perspective. Which god are you venerating? They really so demonized Venus as Lucifer and made you think that, I don't know where they get the connection that Lucifer is Venus, is Satan. Christ called himself, or that book is a bit scribbled, the Christ called himself the bright and morning star. The heart of the matter. And indeed, that star is cast down. But to me, it's Thalem. It is the man on the cross. That's what we're looking for, the man on the cross. 3 crosses at Golgotha, 3 crosses in the heavens. And Golgotha is in Jerusalem. So Jerusalem is in heaven. And so is Hades, which is Mars, the god of war and fire, the god of the underworld fire. You have an older world and an overworld and an underworld because all of the planets are split. They're all divided between a masculine and a feminine. All of them, except for Saturn. Its houses are side by side. So I hope Matt's question, why are they doing that now? This Queen Freddie Mercury thing, why is it in play now? It's all about timing. This has been on the table for a long time. They wanted to do this tribute probably even before his death, but it always comes later. It's timing for them. 1, it's about money. And 2, it's about influencing the population and getting the story out they want to tell. They have to wait long enough for those of us who actually experienced a lot of this to forget some of it. Oh, you don't quite remember it that way, right? That kind of thing. They'll do the same thing with David Bowie. They wait. They wait. It's all about timing with them. But their timing seems to be off lately. I got another comment. Let's go over here because this one was very prevalent. I don't even know if I can get to my comments here, can I? Yeah. I still got to put in a lot of bookmarks. Everything is lost to me. And I haven't gotten around to getting everything in order. Let's go to some comments. And I hate this new one too. This is from Mount1234 Golf, Tina, as most of you know. It's looking almost like they don't have the full story either. Because if they knew exactly what was going on, they wouldn't be needed telescopes now, would they? Yeah, the Vatican's got the Lucifer Observatory or telescope there. Is it in Arizona or New Mexico? Or do I see this incorrect? No, very correct. Give the girl a prize. Now you see, that tells us that they're afraid too. That they're looking and watching. because they don't have the whole story. And they thought they did for a long time, and they've been banking on it. And they thought they were able to flip the story as well. To flip the story. But that's not going to work. Because you can't deny the frequency of the stars. No matter what kind of microwave, radio wave, air waves, this is all about air. It's all going to come down. It's all of this technology is going to be lost, just like it was before. Taken away, lost, changing of the guards, changing of the ages. They're trying to move into an electronic simulation or imitation of telepathy. That's what all your cell phones are about. It's getting everybody connected. It's what the internet's about, getting everybody connected. But that's in what I call the pi ratio. In the phi ratio of nature, we do it anyway naturally. We don't need electronics. And that's the difference, to me, between the negative bloodline and the positive bloodline. The negative bloodline, because it's copper-based, it can connect to the frequencies easier. And I think that's also why we pick up a lot of electronic information, almost channeling AI, because we can tune into these frequencies. And that's what you do in meditation or contemplation. You go inward, you turn the volume down or off, and you listen for what's being the frequency that's out there, and then it's like the old analog radio system. All you hear is static till you start turning it, and then it comes in clear. It's called channeling the muses in nature. And I don't know what to call it in this faux pas reality that we live in. Everything is fake, artificial. It's official art. But all that's going to be put off, because Aquarius is about knowing. It's about individuality, not hive mind. It's much like what I remember before coming into the body. We were a collective. It was like being in this blue water. It was a blue, almost like a plasma field, neon blue, like the color of the lines. Just this blue, jello is what it, if I had to describe it in the only English words I know, if I were looking at it, I would say it looks like neon blue raspberry jello with diamonds all in it. Diamonds floating in neon blue jello. That's what we come from. You can call it the Gulf, the well of souls, whatever you want to call it. I call it the thoughts in the mind of God, the cosmic mind. God is the whole picture. It's the whole picture, or this creation that we're in. I also feel like being in the mind of God. Let's do this. Let's turn all this off. And we want, why ain't it showing me the Milky Way? I should have a better shot of the Milky Way there. And it's just horrible. Milky Way. Or did I lose my... No, I didn't. The Milky Way falls right here. I don't know why it's not showing up in this one. I'll have to fix that. But the Milky Way falls right here. And the arrow... Got another dark nebula there in the arrow of Sagittarius. And it also crosses over to Gemini. Alright, it comes around to this side. It's at the edge of the mutable cross. So it's right here between Gemini and Taurus, and between Mercury and Venus here, and Jupiter and Mars here. Hold either side of what I call the gates of the Milky Way. The center of, and to me it's like your eyelid closed, right? We're in the mind of God, so he needs to open his eye. And that's the Milky Way opening up. As it opens up further and further, the cosmic mind opens its mind's eye. We're in the mind's eye of the mind's eye. A thought within a thought. And it's made manifest. And our thoughts manifest. Somebody was asking me about manifesting and the fastest way to do it. Wow, anytime you're in a hurry to manifest, that throws up red flags, alarm. Why are you in such a hurry? It needs to be done now. Yeah, well, I'm going to speak from experience here. Slow down. When you're in a hurry to manifest something, it's generally for the wrong reasons. First lesson in manifestation. You can't scratch your own back. This is what I learned young. Is that it can be done. You can scratch your own back, but you have to get some type of tool or a wall or assistance to do it. There's just certain places you can't reach. You have to get somebody else to do it for you. It's really easy to manifest for others than it is to manifest for self, because you have to pick one thing. You have to focus on that one thing. And that's why we're given so many choices. That's why we have Coca-Cola and Pepsi and 7-Up and Sprite and Squirt and Mount. Every day there's more and more and more and more out there. Me, I just drink water. I don't drink any of them. I drink what nature gave us. But the faux pas is going to give you many choices so that you can never zone in on that one thing, because you can't have any doubt. You can't even believe. You have to know. And when you're manifesting for somebody else, you really don't have any doubts. You're not attached to this thing you're manifesting like they are. So I found it really easy to manifest for others, and it would happen so fast it would scare me. And it's simply by acknowledging the powers of the universe in an honorable way, and then making a request of them. But understanding that there comes a price for that. There is the law of equivalent exchange. You must give something to get something back. One day I might tell the whole story of what all went on when I was in this group. I lived next door to this girl, and we would hang out to the pool, and she was a young girl. She was like 18 years old. This was back in the early 80s in Houston, Texas. And her lover, her boyfriend that she lived with, was in his mid-60s. And he was the vice president of Goodyear. BF Goodrich, Goodyear, something like that. One of those two companies, Goodyear or Goodrich. I think it was Goodyear. And he was into metaphysics. And she was dingy. She was a model. She was really pretty, really young, all that. And that was like her sugar daddy. He had a son that was older than her. And but he was into metaphysics, and she was extremely dingy. And I would hang out with her, and I noticed he had a chessboard one day, and he was the one that taught me how to play chess. And it didn't take me long to figure out how to beat him. I saw his game real quick. Chess to me was simple and far more fun than checkers. At least there was some competition to it. But he seen that I was really different from my friend. I was very intellectual. I was into books and not so much I was inner and she was outer. She was to look at me, and I didn't want to be looked at. I want you to talk to me. I want you to judge me by my mind, not by my appearance. So he introduced me to metaphysics and his group of friends. I would call them today Scientologists. He gave me L. Ron Hubbard's Dianetics. He had a signed copy of Dianetics. So that tells me he had at least met L. Ron Hubbard. So I went through Dianetics really fast. And I realized, one, it's a scam and a lot of bullshit. But there is a lot of truth in it if you can get past the hype, what I call the hype. But it does talk about the most beneficial thing that Scientology or Dianetics had to offer was to clear the mind. To clear the mind. Because when you want to ask for something in meditation, when you're connecting with your higher self, you don't need outer distraction. It has to be focused, and you need to know that one thing. There can't be doubt. Well, I want this, but no. That's why be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. And the devil's in the details. All of this is part of that. So, but I caught on to really quick about clearing the mind. I call it the chattering monkey. It never shuts the fuck up. And I find it's hard for me to clear my own mind. I really need that. Take the deep breath, sit down, block it all out, go into that dark closet, shut it down. And that's hard for me to do because I've like got a lot of monkeys in there, not just one. They're in there juggling. I've got the blind monkey, the deaf monkey. They're all there. But you have to be able to do this. And it's easier. This is what I found that was beneficial from that. Is the ability to clear other people's minds. And this is what we do. This is what commercials and TV and advertisements and media is all set up for. They need to get your attention. So they call it a hook, right? They bait you. They bait you with images, symbols that we're all attracted to because they're part of our astrology. They're part of our collective consciousness. Our collective unconsciousness deals totally in symbology, and they know this. And then there are key words. There are just words that we have been programmed to trigger us. We are all MK Ultra mind control subjects. If you have a television or a radio, you are an MK Ultra victim. If you've been to college, even Head Start, from Head Start to college, if you've been in any of these institutes, you've been given words that trigger you by society. Now, like this, if I'm telling a woman, if you want a man's attention, you're sitting there talking to him and he's going, yeah, but he's not really listening to anything you say. And if you want to get somebody's attention, a man, if a woman wants to get a man's attention, or even a man, then you have to have a trigger word. And the best trigger word for the male is words like sex. For a woman in a man-woman dynamic, say your husband, a wife to her husband, you want his attention, you would say the word pussy. In our society, that is a trigger. And immediately their mind goes blank. And they look at you and they say, what did you say? Now they're blank. Boom. Whatever they were zoned in on, they have cut that connection. The bait, the trigger got them, and they're turning and they're looking at you going, what? Because instantly, oh, I have a chance at sex here with my wife. But now you have the blank slate and their attention. Now you can tell them what you wanted to say because they're clear. That's what Scientology teaches. With the woman, it's different. You know, women, you can't say penis or cock. That just not, it's not a trigger for a woman. We've been programmed differently. Good words for women. The best one I've found, there are two, because we play on both the heart and the mind, right? So you deal with the man in the lower chakra because he's a man, but you need to deal with the woman in the heart. So it's oh, I love you, or oh, you're beautiful when you compliment them. Or then there's that magic word I call cash. A lot of women don't operate in the vanity realm. It's about the money, honey. So you've got two words there, you know, cash or I love you, and then you've got their attention. And you can tell them what you want to tell them. But that's how the media, and what I call the advertisers, he's the adversary. He adds a verse to entice the mind. Advertisement. And it's by hook or by crook. They're going to get you either way, left or right. The only way, we're all fish. We're fish. We're all fish in this age of Pisces. And we're on two different streams, but they're connected. We've been through all this. We're a fish out of water right now is what we want to be, a fish out of water. You want to be in the air. You want to be like the dolphins that can jump up into the air and spin and then take flight. We want to become the feathered fish, I reckon, would be the thing. The feathered fish, the flying fish, there you go. Fish out of water. To be in the sign of air. This word heaven, out of the Greek, the word air, heaven, spirit, breath, all come from one Greek word, and it's called pneumatic. And that's the same word we use for power tools, air tools. When they're powered by air, they're pneumatic. Air power. And that's where we're moving to, air power. This is why Trump did the Space Force. Space Force, first we had the space age. And again, the first shall be the last. So you take the first letter of space and you put it at the end and it becomes paces. Or put it at the end of ages and it becomes pace the ages. The first shall be the last. These are sayings that in alchemy is telling you how to decode something. Just like the 10 Commandments, thou shalt have no other God before me. That's telling you where to start the zodiac. If you're reading that tradition and that legend, you must start there. But if you're reading a different legend, it's harmful to start where you're told in the other one, because it's a different legend. And this is the mistake that they make in translating the books. I believe the Vatican knows the truth, and they're knowing more and more of the truth, but I also believe they believe their own lie. That's what I believe. They believe their own lie. And what lie or not, this is a realm that they know that it's possible for them to manifest this. But they have to have the collective consciousness, the majority. And it can't be like they're doing the elections, right? It can't be fake ballots. Fake ballots don't count in the etheric world. Sorry. The only way they can count is if you make the people believe they do. And hence the magic box. The magic box. It's all very interesting. I don't want this video to get really long and out of hand. But I do want to say one more thing before it's done. And that's about time and missing time. And I believe we're missing 1,000 years. I believe we're missing a 1,000-year gap. I believe we're after the millennium. I believe we're in the time that Satan will be loosed for a short season to deceive the nations once more. I think we've already gone through the 1,000-year millennial reign, and that time has been hidden from us, and it's been rewritten and replaced. That's what I believe. And then the end shall come. And we see the new heaven and the new earth. And that's how we enter into Aquarius. We can't really enter into the new heaven and the new earth until the other is revealed. And so we've done the 1,000-year reign. We've done all that, and it's been erased. There's big time gaps that just cannot be accounted for. And they give us all this hocus pocus, King Arthur bullshit stories. The Vatican has gone around the world and destroyed all of the knowledge or rewritten it. Why? So that this deception can happen. But at the same time, we're told the other creator, the other God, would send them strong delusion to cause them to believe a lie. And that's all of us, them and us. The only way you can come out of that lie is you actually have to do your homework. The Holy Spirit guides you out. We're picked and chose. Another thing, how they're depicting about this rapture thing, to me, it's bad. It's not what you think it is. There are two in the field and one are taken. The word taken means against your will. When you harvest wheat, you go in and pull out the tares first and you throw them into the fire and burn them before you harvest the wheat. The tares are taken out first. So do you really want to be in on that rapture? As it's not anywhere in the Bible. The word, again, clouds, I'll meet you in the air, pneumatic, Aquarius. It's also the crown chakra, the upper house, the crown chakra, which is represented by Aquarius, Pegasus, the mouth of the fish, Thalum, the instructor, from the thalamus through the pineal into the memory. And this is what needs to wake up. I believe we're going to get our memories back. That's what's going to be restored to us. And it's all in our DNA. You want to talk Akashic records, it's in your frickin' DNA. That's why they're trying to transmute the DNA. And what a perfect time to do it in the age of mutation. Mutable water. Mutable people. They're going to change us. We're mutable people. We're Pisceans. Alright, I think I have gone long enough on this video. It's about an hour now. I've answered your questions to the best of my ability, what I have. If you want to manifest, you need to find another person to do it for you. Or two, you need to create an entity. That's what I really don't want to tell you people, but it's a fact. What you do is you create an etheric magic genie. And it's almost like you put a personality or an identity to your higher self. You name him and you tell him what his likes, dislikes, what his abilities and disabilities are. There must be framework. It has to be orderly and it has to be detailed. What kind of powers are you going to give this entity? What is it allowed to do? It's coming from the etheric. There has to be a price for that. What will you pay? They didn't tell me about this when I did this. I did this I wasn't even 20 yet, so I was a teenager. And so I created this being, this metaphysical being out of mind over matter, right? Mind over matter. Well, mine was mind over etheric matter, dark matter. And so I create this being and I tell it what to do, like Solomon would rule his demons. And it did it instantly. It did it instantly. But something I did not know, two things I did not know, was the law of equivalent exchange, and that because I did it, even though I was doing it for someone else, it would be me that would pay the price. The second thing I did not know when I did this is that I was pregnant, and I didn't know it. And shortly thereafter, I had a miscarriage in the very room, in the very spot that I created that being. And I realized then what went down. I felt the loss then. I felt part of me paying that price. So I went back and I disempowered this creation I had made, and I sent it back. I freed it to go back from whence it came. Wherever I drug you from, whatever paradise I stole you from or whatever, You go back there. I gave it back. I disempowered it and sent it back to where it came from. And I disassociated myself with these people. 100%, even my friend. So much so, I left the state. Immediately, within a week, or just days really, I would say 5 days of getting out of the hospital of the miscarriage, I knew exactly what went down. I understood everything at that point. It all made sense then. There is nothing for free. Everything costs something. And now the church and the governments are set up so that they can have, but you're paying the cost, just like they did me. They set me up to create this being and to get favors for them, to do little miracles for them, because I couldn't scratch my own back. I couldn't focus on what does Levette want. I want this, but I knew exactly what they wanted and I could target in on it. So I don't play that anymore. Manifestation needs to come from a willing and contrite heart. It needs to be a gift freely given, not coerced or trade of anything but love and time, because that's all we really have, is our energy and our time. And we can manifest that in many different ways. So be careful on the levels of manifestation or creation. You have no idea what you're playing with. Now, I appreciate having gone through that experience, actually, because now that we're seeing this these people are taking off their masks now, and they're revealing themselves to us publicly. They don't care anymore. They're not hiding the fact that all of the hermaphroditic, transgender, all of that is perfectly on time for this age. But there's a high price to pay for it. And karma will take care of all of that. The law of equivalent exchange will eventually take care of all of that. We are shown our balances. When they show you the justice balances, they're off balance. It's criminal justice. There is no justice for the victim. It's only justice for the criminal, right? The criminal needs justice. He's in jail. So it's way off balance. Karma's coming to fix all of that. Everything will be put back in balance, which means we will remain in this duality, but it will no longer be a powerhouse by the dark side. We are going, in the next 2 ages, as a matter of fact, you see the return of the Jedi. You're going to see a different Jedi movie. The ones they're giving us, they're actually telling you in the storyline, but it's really shitty the way they're doing it. It's really shitty. And they're still trying to manipulate it into being on the favor of Empire, which is Jupiter. Alright, have I confused you enough? Y'all know what to do. Go out and commit those random acts of kindness. I'm going to get this uploaded. I've got charts processing now, so some of them will be coming out today. I hope to have them wrapped up by Thanksgiving, and then I'm going to take a little break and maybe we'll move into some new charts. But a lot of new people to my channel. If I've helped you, won't you consider making a donation to the channel to help me out as well? I still need to buy a webcam. I haven't done that yet. And then I hope to enable and go into some live streams. I'd like to do a live stream about once a week, maybe on Saturday or Sunday morning when everybody's available, and just have some coffee time and coffee talk. That way I can answer your questions in real time and everybody can interact, and we can get that going and get this ball rolling on down the road. Alright, have a great day. Go commit those random acts of kindness and create the reality that you want to see. And do it with love by giving to others. You see, the law of equivalent exchange works both ways. When we're manifesting, we want to take something. But when you give something, then the universe must in turn give you something. It works both ways.